Music to me, well, it's my life.
My life is, that's what it is, it's infused with music, okay? Anything I do is either directly music or it's a reaction to music, one way or the other.
For it's what I listen to every day. It's just the motions and the sounds of life, and it's one of the best things possible.
It doesn't matter what country, what language you play. It's always, music is the one commonality that it's a universal language. It shows feelings, even anger, excitement. Music does that.
It just feels good to be able to play it, and I feel like I'm speaking to other people through music, and it's just its own little world.
Music is an escape for me. It's probably the one thing in my life that has given my life any sort of meaning. Music is the reason why I'm here today.
I've always felt that music was a tool in reaching students' lives. I've always known I was going to be an educator. I feel like my first duty is to help raise productive individuals in our society. And I choose to do it through music.
I literally decided when I was in high school that this was my passion and this is what I wanted to dedicate my life to. And I've never looked back. So it means everything to me. I can't imagine doing anything else.
So I was inspired to join band in the first place because I've always had a love for music, and I had played piano, but I wanted to be a part of something bigger. And so I chose to play alto saxophone when I was in elementary band.
I wanted to join band from a young age because I always liked the idea of trying out a musical instrument, and then it just continued from there.
Well, again, it started like I said, in the 5th grade, and I was trying to get out of classes. Trying to get away from my teacher, and and I saw kids carrying these big, instruments around and all that stuff. And I said, hey man, I'm going to be a part of that. So,
being in band is pretty much a family tradition with my dad and my siblings. All of us had been in band from the very beginning, since we were about 10 years old, I want to say.
So I had an older sister and an older brother who went through the Coconino band program, and I've been going to their concerts and marching band shows and stuff for years, before I was even interested in band. And I knew that I didn't know anything else about my future, but I knew when I went to Coconino High School I wanted to be in band.
I knew the CHS band was going to be a great option because my sister had done it before me, and I've heard all the great stories that she had and everything, and all the great experiences that she had, and I was just really excited to join from the very beginning, actually. So,
if you look at my 8th grade yearbook, and they asked all the 8th graders, what do you want to be when you grow up? Literally in there it states that I was going to be a high school band director. It's just, I started playing when I was 10, I'm a trumpet player, and I knew from a very early on age that that's what I wanted to do.
My inspiration for a band director started when I was a student at Coconino High School. I graduated in 1975. My mentor was and is Nard Curry.
Well, I know the school opened, I believe, in 1967. Nard Curry was the first director.
That's one thing that's been so neat about putting this project together, is because we've been able to trace the lineage of band directors all the way back to the start, starting with Nard. I had the pleasure of meeting Nard years ago.
We moved from a nice warm climate down in Tempe up to Flagstaff, not knowing dilly squat. Well, we had sort of a hint of what it's going to be like. When Coconino opened in 1967, I wanted to be in on the ground floor of a brand new school. Everybody thought I was nuts because we had such a good band program at Flag High. Why in the world would I want to go across town to Coconino? I went over there the first day of school, walked in the band room for the first band class. 18 kids showed up. They wanted to have a band go out and play pep band for the JV football team. Basically what I did, I said, well, 18 people marching is not going to make it. So the first time we ever marched, the 18 people marched, but I had about 10 or 12 string players who wanted to be in the band, so I gave them tambourines, cymbals, bass drum. We ended up marching about, I'd say 25 to 30 people. We only could play about maybe 3 different tunes by the time the second or third week of school came along. You're a grand old flag, da 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 da. So we played that. And when they made a touchdown, we played that. And they started putting words to it, and I said, no. We're not going to have that for a fight song. I'm sorry. 3 of the girls in band were really creative and everything. So they came up, I said, why don't you come up with a fight song, okay? I said, that's in 6/8. That's an awkward piece of music to play for a fight song and to march. But you guys want it? Okay. So I made an arrangement of it, and that became our fight song. Well, at just about the same time, they were going to use another tune for the alma mater, and it's one that probably 20 schools in Arizona alone use for their alma mater. And I said, no, we're not going to use that for alma. So I wrote the alma mater, and they came up with the words to fit that.
I had no official, teaching experience before I came here. My first job was at Coconino High School. And again, my mentor, Nard Curry, kind of paved the way for me. He encouraged me. He found me a job when there was none, and I'm not completely sure how he did that back in 1980.
John then finished his high school, and then he went to NAU. He came back and did his student teaching with me at Coconino High School.
And then as soon as he got my foot in the door, he moved down, Nard moved to the middle school level, and he said, it's all yours, big guy. And so I took over as a head director in 1981.
I taught at Coconino from 1992 to 1999. My first year of actual teaching was at my old high school. And in March of that year, it was just a one-year position, the director from Northern Arizona University said, hey, I've got a graduate assistantship at Northern Arizona. You want to come? And they literally paid for my entire master's program. And then from there, I was offered the position here at Coconino. There are 2 things that I started at Coconino that have lasted to this day. Tuesday night rehearsals, those are my fault. The other thing that I started that's still in existence was marching band's PE credit. I pushed that through the school board. That did not exist. Nard was first, John was second. It was actually Nard's son that was third, Chuck.
Chuck got his master's in performance. Then he had to go back to NAU for a semester, for a year really, to get his teaching certificate. That's when John decided he was going to go work on his doctorate degree in conducting or something. And so that came open, and so Chuck got that job, and he was there for 4 years.
And then I took over from Chuck. Okay. And then after Chuck, there was 2 real short-timers between me and Jennifer.
Well, I decided I was going to take a plunge and move out here all the way from Florida, and the principal at the time was Dave Roth. And I started kind of working on the job back in the spring. An interesting story about me getting hired here was he actually hired me sight unseen. I remember the first time I came and saw Coconino High School, I was very excited. I fell in love with the school immediately, and I've always really enjoyed my time here and been so proud to be the band director here for so many years.
Jennifer Hamilton was my band director for the full 4 years that I was at Coconino High School. I loved having her as a director. I still think back on when I was in high school, and she just did so much for everyone, and she cared about us all, and you could tell.
I had the fortunate pleasure of actually getting to teach with Jennifer as well. And I think that actually opened my eyes to the band program even more, because as a student you see certain things and you think the band program's amazing already, but teaching the kids themselves, I think that's also a very important part of the Coconino band program.
I think it's just the culture of the school. Ever since I got here, I just felt completely supported with the band program. And I just got to teach the most fantastic students year in and year out. And it's just so neat to see those students come in as freshmen. They're basically just overgrown middle schoolers. And then through band and through the leadership that we instill, just to watch those students mature and just to watch them express themselves through music, it's just a really neat thing to be a part of